video, we will be talking about the 10 steps to make ethical decision making efficient and practical. So, importance of making sure that decision making will be efficient and practical is, of course, effective decision making is fundamental to leadership. You know? In essence, decision making is the primary function of a good leader. And now, decisions that we allow leaders to respond to changing market decisions, threats, and opportunities in order to secure the future success of the organization. Aside from that, also, strong decision making also kasi helps solve problems promptly, agaran, and creates a leadership position for the decision makers. So strong decisions should be impartial and devoid of any emotional influences that might make us overlook shortcomings. Kailangan nating iset aside what are the uh, influences that might affect our decisions, most especially if it is all about personal and emotional. Such decision making should also be transparent and, of course, most importantly, logical. So let's proceed. Number one, um, establish the facts surrounding the ethical dilemma. What does this mean? Facts are important in law enforcement. True. To investigate all cases, officers must rely on facts to guard against misinformation and cognitive biases. If the facts are not known, everything that surrounds the dilemma must be investigated to act on the right information. Avoid acting on rumors and gossip by verifying information through factual information and evidence. Napakadelikado po if you are going to look at that way. Please do not forget that as a rule of thumb, hearsay is just a mere hearsay, and hearsay is one of the most, actually yan yung pinaka um, weakest evidence that you can ever present in court. Okay? Unless otherwise it is corroborated with an evidences, most especially document evidences that will prove that those statements or those information that you've heard was true and a fact. Number two, determine your legal obligations and duties. How? So be sure of your professional and legal obligations. Professional and legal obligations will likely allow you to easily decide on a course of action to take in an ethical dilemma. Pero however, while professional and legal obligations may not always require a course of action that coincides with these obligations, your awareness of any professional and legal obligations must be known to allow you to be fully cognizant, aware ka ba, of the consequences of your actions should you choose to ignore professional or legal obligations. Number three, establish the interested participants involved. Basic, napaka-basic niyan. It's important to know who will be impacted by the course of action that you decide upon. Diba? Often, the primary participants are easy to identify, and it is the secondary participants that are often not considered. This may include friends, families, or employees that are related somehow to the primary participants in the dilemma. Knowing the impact of the decision made to secondary participants may be particularly important for a decision made with utilitarian underpinnings, where the rights of those who are not part of the majority may not be considered. Okay? Focus lang sa um, primary participants. Number four, determine the ethical values of each applicant. Okay? By determining kasi the ethical values is napaka-importante, which allow you to better understand what is truly at stake. Okay, a participant in an ethical dilemma may value loyalty as the most important value. However, another participant may value equality as the more important value. When considered by that time, the value of loyalty may not compare with equality depending upon the ethical dilemma. Number five, Consider normative ethical theories as an aid to determine a course of action. Okay? In number 5, you're gonna look back to the normative ethical theories that we've talked about, and you're going to reconsider that, most especially um, as an aid in determining a course of action that is needed in that particular scenario or situation. So, here in number 5, when considering options, normative ethical theories may assist you in determining the consequences of actions, or the duties you may be obligated to follow that fall outside of the laws, rules, and procedures. You may also assess whether the decision you are considering is rational from another perspective you have not considered. You have an option naman here. Gratuity is the gift of an item uh, to another person based solely on their occupation. The gratuity is most often given to officers by businessmen, politicians, government employees, public utility vehicle drivers, waiters, and any other persons. Now, for the purpose of discussion surrounding ethics in law enforcement, a gratuity is the gift of an item, again, no, to another person based on solely on their occupation. A gratuity is um, most often given to officers by workers in the service industries. Now, why should police officers need to be careful in accepting gratuity? Now, in this line, no, in this part, most people officers, most police officers draw the line between accepting gratuities without strings, meaning walang conditions at all, and taking bribes to compromise their policing duties. But gratuities can influence police to spend their time unequally among establishments that do and do not offer them gratuities. Okay, napakahalaga na you have to understand better what gratuity really is for. Kasi may tinatawag din tayong bribery. No, so long as your decision making as a police officer do not um, or is not influenced by these actions, well, as a whole, it's fine. Kaso nga lang, no, in the world of law enforcement, accepting gratuities kasi has really negatively affect the, the India police image. Kasi their behavior also has a direct impact on their image. One behavior that may negatively affect the police image, isa na yan dyan, is yung accepting gratuities. No matter how small or big it is. For example, such as free coffee. Yan. And most importantly, no, once an officer accepts a small gratuity, it will inevitably lead to more serious breaches of integrity. Lalong-lalo na pag nasimulan. Attributes of law enforcement personnel. Number 1, we have here courageous. Officers who are willing to put themselves in a harm's way to enforce the law, to protect people and property, and to prevent crime. That is exactly being courageous. No? Courageous kasi means having, showing, or done with courage. The quality of being ready and willing to face negative situations involving danger or pain. And courageous can also be used to describe people who have courage or the actions of such people when they face negative situation resolutely. Tawag din natin sa kanila is brave. Those who are courageous are also called as brave persons. Officers who are not easily deterred from doing the right thing or investigating the crimes. PNP members shall take legitimate actions or means to achieve the goals even in the face of internal or external difficulties, and despite anything which might weaken their resolve in the course of time, still will persevere in order for them to achieve their goal. No? Pag sinabi nating perseverance, it is a continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. This is the action or condition or an instance of persevering. kahit anong hadlang, so long as you are firm with your decision to pursue that plans of yours as a police officers, um, gagawin at gagawin mo. That's being that's what perseverance mean is. Officers who can empathize and sympathize with lawbreakers and victims, and who understand that situations are complex and that everyone deserves respect, is being compassionate. Okay? Compassion kasi motivates people to go out of their way to relieve the physical, mental, or emotional pains of others and themselves. Compassion is often regarded as being sensitive, yan, sensitive to the emotional aspects of the suffering of others. And as a police officer, being compassionate is very, very, very important. No, compassion motivates people again to go out of their way. And also in the law enforcement, the importance of empathy is, of course, by knowing what community members are thinking and feeling, police officers can better meet the community's needs. Yan. This knowledge conveys several important messages. It conveys that officers not only hear the needs of the community members, but also understand and respect what those needs are. No? Being sensitive to those needing that I've been talking. Officers who are themselves off duty by volunteering and who try to become better to the life of others through community surveys, even if they are not on duty. And because of generosity, one of the qualities of police officers that must possess, no, ways and means, and in showing this is, of course, yan, community service, giving something which are actually yung mga sinasabi nating sobra, okay? There are others nga hindi um iniisip na sobra. There are others who are really compassionate in giving something to other people. And being generous is one of the best quality actually. And attitude of a police officer. Officers who are trustworthy and who can be counted on to speak the truth even when the truth is embarrassing or results in a not guilty decision in a case that is important to the officer. In every aspect of our lives, in every situation, may it be outside of the law enforcement, and most especially in the law enforcement field, truthfulness is very, very important. No, um, relationships, no, like police community relationship, will not work out unless otherwise the public image of police officers are not going to be trustworthy because of not being truthful to whatever is going to be said. Okay? Good temper. Officers who, when confronted with difficult situations, stay calm and who can withstand pressure, react physically or verbally. This is very, very self-explanatory, is what I have said. Especially you guys who are aspiring to become a man in uniform again and again. Once you already become one, it's always a must that you will always practice maximum tolerance, despite and in spite of kind of situation that is present. Okay? Good temper. So that's all for the attributes of law enforcement personnel.